Right, hello, it's Dave and Cathy here.
Hello.
We are walking possibly to the cinema. We can't quite decide. We're on the fence here. So here's the situation. It's Wednesday afternoon.
Not Wednesday afternoon, it's 8 o'clock.
It's late into Wednesday afternoon.
So we were both
closing on Thursday fast.
In work longer than we intended. Want to go to the cinema to do a cinema because we haven't done one in a while. But there's absolutely nothing we want to see in the cinema.
There's a lot of shit there. So it's kind of like, and everything's just getting such bad reviews. It's like...
We were going to see Jason Bourne last weekend, then we bailed because of the reviews. We were going to see Suicide Squad this weekend, then we bailed because of the reviews. And now there's nothing in the cinema tonight except Bourne or Suicide Squad.
Well, and we missed Bourne.
Bourne.
Basically, the thing is... Alright, we're at a crossroads here. We are literally at a crossroads.
Yeah. I'm begging going home.
You want to go home? I think we should try Suicide Squad. I mean, we know it's going to be bad.
It's not just like being called bad. It's being called unenjoyable, unwatchable, boring. Makes no sense.
We waste of time.
Apparently, was like cut since the trailer did so well. They got the trailer people to recut the movie and take it out of the director's hands.
But apparently they only did the first half of the movie, and because then there was these. So there's basically two different cuts of this movie that got meshed together, and it sounds
apparently
like
makes no sense.
Complete mess.
And it doesn't sound like no one's saying it's so bad it's good either.
But don't you kind of want to watch that car crash?
I think, if it was like at home maybe on DVD, or if it was just like. Oh, maybe on like an afternoon in the weekend when you come out and you're like, oh well, fine. But this is like
late
this
on a
is
Wednesday.
pushing 8:30 on a Wednesday night. I do like an early night.
I know, but I want to go all in. I'm up for this.
I feel like we're just going to torture ourselves. Like every single person I respect and don't respect who watches movies have unanimously said it's terrible and not enjoyable. No, you know the way some people you don't really know them. You don't know whether their opinion on movies is something you agree with.
You don't respect their opinion.
I'm just saying I don't know. I just haven't heard one person say that it's good.
Yeah,
and people are saying there's no pleasure to be gotten from it. Like it's not even funny or fun, or like the action isn't good.
No, it sounds like a complete
And apparently
mess.
Jared Leto's Joker's terrible. Apparently Margot Robbie's basically kind of people feel like she's being a bit exploited in it.
Oh really?
Apparently the only good person, and we do love her, is Viola Davis. And Elise Keating from How to Get Away with Murder.
I mean, don't you
apparently she's the best actor in it.
But we could go in there right now with our expectations at the lowest, and then we could try and go in there with scientific minds and try and sort of tackle what went wrong, what we would have fixed, and then maybe just maybe at the end of it we could figure out how to make a better Suicide Squad.
But why would we try and figure out how to make it? We want to enjoy a movie.
Because I don't want to go home.
But you've already tried to bribe me. He's already tried to bribe me with popcorn.
I'll buy you a popcorn.
No, but we just ate dinner. That's not even good. Even popcorn isn't getting me there tonight.
So we're here now. This is decision time.
So
are you willing to
you don't actually want to see this movie. You just want to go to the cinema. Correct?
Kinda. I kind of just want to see what all the fuss is about.
Well, I just wanted to do a podcast, and actually we've just done one, so I hope our listeners won't be too bummed if we don't go.
This isn't a real podcast.
But they don't need us to see it. Like, they know it's shit.
We need to talk
about the movie. We know it's shit. They know it's shit. Everyone else in the world knows it's shit.
But what if it's not shit? What if we're the only two people in the world who would have loved it?
I mean, at least we have no expectations. But we did see the trailers and think it looked good. Like, we were like, oh yeah, we're up for going to see this.
The trailers
we thought it might be a bit Deadpoolish. Apparently not.
I think everyone thought that.
I reckon that I would have enjoyed, and I know I haven't seen this, the Fantastic Four movie that came out last summer more than this. Because at least that's only like 75 minutes long.
But you see, if we go to the cinema now, you'll be able to make these kind of comparisons.
But this isn't short. Like, it's short by superhero movie standards, but it's still 2 hours and 10 minutes. So we're going to get out at 10:30 when you add on trailers.
Yeah, and then we can go home and go to bed. Satisfied.
So then we'll
that we are
all the way home about how shit it was and how tired we are. Okay, I reckon what I might do is I'll go, but for an hour, and I'll just leave if it's not any good, and you can stay.
Oh, you're gonna pull an old Independence?
Yeah.
An old ID resurgence.
Yeah.
Wait, so I have to stay by myself
Well,
then
you can
and
leave
do
with
another
me, but
lonesome
I know
cinema
you
aisle?
won't do that. You can stay because you're not going to leave. You won't walk out of a movie the way I will.
All right, so let's do this.
Okay, we'll
Let's
do
give it an hour.
Possibly.
And if we don't
you
like
will hear
it-
my voice on its own afterwards.
Maybe what we could do is because
There's very loud traffic, by the way.
because we've
Apologies.
got
We've walked a different route than
We've
usual.
got unlimited cinema passes, so maybe we could catch the second hour at some other stage.
What we do need to mention for all our listeners is that we went to the Harry Potter play on Sunday,
Oh my God, yes.
and that was amazing.
Does that almost need a
We should have
separate
done
episode?
See, we couldn't really do a cinema on that because we were in the city and we were with other people, so
And
it would have been weird.
Much further than a mile.
Yeah, would have been an 8-mile cinema if we'd done it. But it was amazing. So really, after that, this
8
is
Mile
going to seem
Cinema
even worse.
would be the Eminem movie.
Yeah, true.
Well, let's talk about that separately, maybe in a bonus
And so let's
episode.
never walk this route again because I've never heard such loud traffic.
It's quite
I
loud.
don't think this is going to work.
Well, let's get up nice and close. I'm definitely too loud right now. And I do this kind of voice when I go loud close to the microphone. You're giving me looks as if what the hell is he doing? Okay.
Anyway.
Right, let's give it a
see
go.
you in an hour.
We'll see you in an hour.
Bye.
I can't wait to show you my toys.
Let's do something fun.
Right, so we're just out of Suicide Squad. Why
We
did
stayed.
We do it?
We
We
stayed.
did stay. We made it to the end.
So can I say something? I actually kind of enjoyed it.
What?
Because I thought it was gonna be like so bad, right? And I normally don't like those movies at the best of times.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, first of all, we had so much shenanigans of debating whether we go in or not. We must have missed the first 5 or 10 minutes.
I feel like I don't know how much we missed.
But it didn't matter
So-
because all she was doing, all it was happening
got
was that
in-
Viola Davis was throwing a file on
Introducing
the
them
table
all.
and introducing each character.
Yeah, and we started on we walked in as Deadshot was being introduced.
Yeah, so,
I
like, we
don't-
didn't miss anything.
I kind of think that there was one character who showed up later, the sort of Native American character who scales walls. And
Maybe
I don't
they'd
know,
introduce him at the start.
Were we
but
supposed to
I
know who
don't
he
think it
was?
mattered.
I
But
didn't
yeah,
know
do you
who
know
he
what?
was.
I actually I got okay, never laughed with it because the jokes were shit, but
None
I
of the
laughed
jokes
at it
landed.
like multiple times, and also
At how bad it
like
was.
it wasn't that long, and it was also like I was like kind of fascinated at I don't know, I was fascinated at how bad the music was.
The music
The
felt
music
like
was
so the soundtrack
really bad. Like
felt
there was
like
an Eminem song in there.
and it felt like they were just trying to shoehorn in all these cool songs.
Yeah, it felt like they were trying to be like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, exactly.
But not.
And-
But you know what? Because I heard such negative reviews about such negative reviews about every part of it that actually I was like, oh, do you know what? I was interested in a couple of elements. Like I've never seen Will Smith in an ensemble cast before. Will Smith's always in a Will Smith movie.
True. I mean,
So I was quite.
That was pretty
I
much.
He was the best.
He was
thing
kind of the
in
main
it.
character,
Yeah.
really.
And I
Um,
also like the guy, the RoboCop guy.
Let's go through what we liked.
Yeah.
Okay, keep
So
going.
I like the RoboCop guy. I like Will Smith.
Who's the RoboCop guy?
You know the guy who's in RoboCop the movie.
Oh, sorry.
I
I,
don't
thought
know
you
his
meant there
name.
was some
No,
sort
no.
of metal
The goodie.
android guy.
Um,
Joel Kinnaman,
yeah.
who we most recently saw in
I
House of
enjoyed.
Cards. No, I thought he was a bit stiff, to be honest. and
Oh, I think
boring.
he's like playing a US soldier, like. But I don't know. There was enough elements in it that made me laugh because they were so silly, and I think it didn't take itself as seriously as other movies like that do, which always pisses me off. Like, for example, Civil War. It's just like, okay, over yourself, and I feel like this movie was not
So,
taking
can
itself so
we-
seriously.
Can I ask you a question
Yeah?
right now? Because this might make a great tweet.
What?
So, you think that you preferred that movie to Captain America: Civil War? Can I say that? in
Well,
a
I didn't
tweet?
like either movie though.
Okay, but did you like that more?
I like that one more.
Did you-
I like
did you
Suicide
like-
Squad more because it doesn't take itself so seriously. Because it knows it's shit.
So I can turn this into 140 characters.
You can.
Cathy preferred Suicide Squad to Captain America: Civil War.
Yeah, but like disclaimer, I didn't like either of them.
No, but this is great. This is going to get you so much
I
publicity.
don't
We're going to
think
put
it's
you on
gonna
the
get me
map, Cathy.
publicity.
We're going to get you so much
it's
hate
not.
mail.
And also, but then I think the pacing of it, I kind of was tipping along. Like, there's loads of problems with it, but it was tipping along nicely. I didn't have that moment that I so often have in those movies where I'm like, oh god, with another half hour of this shit.
Oh, I disagree. I checked my watch.
I saw you checking your watch
so many times. I thought it was
there was
so
a point
boring.
in the middle. No, but but then they're the things I liked about it.
Okay.
But way more things I disliked about it.
Okay, go. Wait, can I talk about what I liked?
Yeah,
about
you
it
talk
first?
about what you like.
Okay, there were a few sort of nice little stylish touches that I liked. On the
That's
whole,
interesting. I didn't think it was stylish at all.
No,
I thought it was like the ugliest movie I've ever seen.
I agree. Overall, so ugly, like disgusting. Everything was brown.
Everything was black and
grey
brown.
and impossible to see. And then
we saw it in
suddenly-
3D,
and then
which makes it
occasionally
darker.
They threw in sort of Technicolor, which
Yeah, that
was
was
jarring
weird.
and disgusting.
It was confusing,
No, but
the
that's,
Technicolor
sorry, that's
stuff.
not what I was saying. Style and tone, awful throughout. But a few stylish touches which I liked.
Like what?
There was, I mean, this isn't spoilery, but there's a moment when the the whoever she is, the doctor, turns into the enchantress. She puts her hand on the table, and then the enchantress's black hand comes out from underneath her hand and holds her hand, and then flips it over. That really stood out to me. There were a
That was
couple
like
of
1
nice.
second of the movie.
That's just one. I'm just saying there was a few visual touches which stood out to me. There were some
Of
nice.
course they stood out because
effects.
everything else was in grey.
Everything else was so
they,
bad.
They had to stand out.
So look, that's something I thought. Will Smith is Will Smith. I think he's charming. He was just about sort of pulling.
He was basically
pulling
playing
off
the
sort of
same
thing to
character he
do.
played in The Pursuit of Happiness. It just happened that this time he was
Yeah.
a
And-
serial killer instead of a banker.
As you said, I thought the cheesy father and daughter stuff with him was just making me laugh.
Oh, we
throughout.
laughed so much. Like at one
when
point
he
he's
looks-
missing his daughter, right? And then he goes past his shop and he looks at the mannequin and he's like, because the mannequin's the same height as
is
his
the
daughter.
same height as his daughter, and
The
he
mannequin
gets
has no
nostalgic.
face. Like it's not even a mannequin that looks like a kid. It's just the same size.
And he
as
does this
their-
sort of knowing look, and then looks away wistfully. And it was like this. Well, that
It was The Pursuit of Happiness.
that sums up this whole movie. Like subtlety, there was no subtlety. Okay, I think I'm out of things I like.
Yeah, you're out of things you like. Right,
What
now
I really
can-
didn't like was
No, it's my turn to say why I didn't
Okay.
like.
All right.
Jared
Ooh,
Leto,
Sorry.
the worst performance I've ever seen. Like I've watched the Fantastic Four movie last year that you didn't see,
Yeah.
and Jared Leto's performance like makes that movie look like an Oscar-winning like best actor kind of movie.
What was he trying
What
to
was
do?
he
do you
doing?
think?
His accent was changing every time he spoke. His laugh was weird. He was basically trying to copy Jack Nicholson, I think, from when he was the Joker, but also like trying to be a bit like Al Pacino or something. I don't really understand what he was
there
doing.
was I mean, the whole look. I kind of like that they tried to do something a little bit different with.
No,
the
they
whole
actually should have done the opposite
gangster
and
thing.
reined it in, because after Heath Ledger, like
Yeah, there's
it's gone too far,
Can't
like-
you can't go any further. than Heath
no,
Ledger. That's
they
what
should
he
have reined
tried
it
to
in,
do.
and then so I really didn't like him. I thought he was disgusting, and
But look, the whole gangster thing. I admire that they tried to do a different aesthetic.
but he wasn't
but I
even a
don't think it
Joker.
worked.
His name was the Joker, but he wasn't. He was. I don't know. I didn't recognize him as that character at all.
Well, it was,
Other
yeah,
than
it
that,
was,
they said it was his name.
it was basically like a bad.
He was just like a villain.
It was a bad mob boss.
Yeah.
Wearing green hair dye. And
Yeah,
tattoos.
and like
he
his
was-
lips kept changing. So one minute his lips are like black outlined around his face, the next minute they're like red lipstick. It wasn't even consistent makeup.
And like, did you feel that his metal teeth were hindering his performance?
Yeah, I was like, is he wearing
Like,
braces? At one point, I
he's
thought he was
un-
wearing train tracks.
He was unable to talk at several points. I couldn't quite make out what he was saying, and he was just terrible. He wasn't. He also wasn't threatening. In no way did I
No.
think he was threatening. I just thought he was annoying.
And I was
really
also like, so this leads into my
irritated
second
by
point,
him.
where like I was actually like disgusted and disturbed by his relationship with
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn.
Well,
It's just
it's
like
an
this fucked
abusive
up
relationship.
abusive relationship, and it
But-
was really sinister. And then, secondly, with her, like my main gripe was like the way she's dressed. Like I hate when women are dressed like that in movies, because you know none of the men are showing their asses off. But then this always bothers me. Bloody 6-inch stilettos, and she's running around the city. At one point she drops down about 5 stories of a building and lands on her feet in stilettos. Like I can't even wear stilettos like walking to work. And then she's running, and like I'm like, okay, bringing it back to the initial recruitment phase, why were any of them recruited? None of
Yeah.
them, except for the fire guy, none of them had any special powers.
It doesn't make any sense. Well,
Like
in
Harley Quinn
particular,
has no special powers.
No, she has a
Will Smith,
baseball
fine,
bat.
he's like a good shot, but surely anyone, you know, a sniper they get from the rifle in the army would be a good shot.
Well, let's go through them. Who's got right?
girl
Will
who's a
Smith
sword
has skills.
expert.
The sword expert came out of nowhere.
But she works for
Who
the
is she?
government though, so
okay, yeah,
fair
that
enough.
kind of makes sense. Captain Boomerang is useless.
He's just a bit of a brute.
He has a boomerang and he drinks cans. He drinks
Yeah,
tinnies.
I was like, I thought he was drinking a Red Bull at one point. I was like, I don't understand.
Then
and then there's like the flame guy is cool, and the crocodile's cool.
Yeah, they have.
But even
powers.
then, I was like, what's your power? You're a crocodile. It's very confusing.
But also, here's the thing, right? What's her end goal here is that we need a team of people who can fight meta-humans. You have that. That's called the Justice League.
Yeah, I know.
All those people are out there.
I didn't know Batman was going to be in it.
Why not go out and recruit them?
But also,
then
this isn't a spoiler. Like, basically, maybe it's a bit of a spoiler. The villain that they're fighting is a villain that was created by Viola Davis.
Yeah, well, put a spoiler warning there.
Yeah.
I think you just kind of did it.
So
yeah, it's all her fault.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
But really, I think, is that the point of the movie? Maybe I'm reading too much into it. But she's the real villain, Viola Davis. That she thought she could contain, bad people, and then ultimately one of them got free and tried to destroy them all.
Yeah, maybe we should get into spoilers. We'll just continue in spoilers now, okay? So, spoiler alert.
Okay, that villain was
terrible.
Pointless.
I've never seen Cara Delevingne act before, and I don't ever want to see her act again.
No, it wasn't very scary or
But
threatening.
then she was so CG'd, it was kind of hard to tell.
What was her motivation? To rule the world, I guess. But then she kept saying, "I'm going to create a machine," which was blue lightning.
I didn't understand.
That destroyed some satellites.
And also, in the final fight scene, and she's tricked by Harley. It's why would you, this goddess, be wasting your time having a conversation with this one mortal and with long enough so that you can be tricked by her? I didn't believe that. And also, I felt like there's no stakes, right? Because they're all oh, we're a Suicide Squad. They're we're going to kill you if you leave, we're going to kill you if you don't leave. And then all of a sudden, within 2 scenes, they've all bonded and they're we're family now.
That was so
we
forced.
love each other so much. It's huh?
I'm sorry, that...
And when the Joker died, in inverted commas, we were all well, obviously the Joker hasn't died because we know they want to give him a spin-off.
El Diablo, the fire guy, had so many ridiculously cheesy moments. His whole arc was ridiculously cheesy. I don't fight, bro, and it's I killed my wife and kids by accident, bro.
But that was actually terrible. It's all he's I don't want to
awful.
fight anymore, I don't want to be a weapon.
And then they
forced
him
to be a weapon. And actually, sorry, I meant to say there's a scene that I found very disturbing at the start where they're all in prison. They're taken pretty much against their will, all of them, locked into wheelchairs with straitjackets on and injected in the head. That's fucked up. And then they're all just kept there, and then this attack happens in the city, and then they're all just brought to the venue, having not met each other, introduced, and their mission given to them in 2 seconds, and then it's huh? This isn't the assembling the squad bit that I was
and can
assuming
I
would
point something
happen.
out with that as well? So their mission, it turns out, the whole time was to go and rescue Viola Davis from the city, right?
Uh-huh.
And then Viola Davis gets evacuated by helicopter. So why didn't they just send a helicopter in the first place? Because they knew where she was.
I
they
couldn't understand
basically
it.
they got there so that they could open a door, and she came out and went to the roof, and they called
And she
for
shoots
an evac.
everyone. And I think we were supposed to think she's cool, but I was just that's terrible.
That was awful. She was despicable.
Yeah.
And what's more so is that Rick Flag is supposed to be sort of the moral heart of the movie.
Yeah, and he's
isn't he?
terrible too.
And he kind of was just oh yeah, she does that.
And then at the end, this is where I was well, what was the point of any of it? Because at the end they have quite a nice moment where they win. And then they're all oh yeah, we're going to go, live on the beach or whatever they want to do. And Viola Davis is I'm taking 10 years off your sentence.
She's sequels.
But she's I'm taking 10 years off your sentence. There's no nice kind of moment of praise or anything like that.
Well, they are all bad guys.
Yeah, but then they're all sent back to prison, and we see this kind of disturbing montage where the Aussie guy is actually just locked in a cell on his own screaming. I was that's terrible. When in fact all we know that this guy did was rob banks. I don't think that he's supposed to be a big murderer.
He drinks tinnies in the street.
And then all the men...
He's a loose cannon.
All the men have their own cell, private prison cell, but Harley Quinn's in a cage in the middle of a room so that everyone can just lech on her.
It was very lechy. Did you...
why was she in a cage? She's not Hannibal Lecter.
I agree.
Why didn't she have a cell? I was this is disgusting.
Can we talk about the lechiness? Because there was a whole scene with her putting on her clothes.
Yeah, in her bra and knickers for no reason.
And that was like a joke, like, oh, men are all staring at her. But it was basically like, oh, here you go, audience, you can have a stare as well. Didn't you think that?
Yeah, but it was disgusting. Like, the camera just lingered on her body all the time.
It had that sort of Michael Bay sort of visualization of women. And to some extent, this comes from the comic books, as does the domestic sort of abusive situation.
Really? Was that happening in the comic book?
Well, yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's like they have a twisted relationship.
And he, like, electrocuted her brain.
Yeah.
And dropped her in, like, sewage.
In toxic way.
Like,
I think
what is this?
I mean, that...
But anyway, look...
I don't know.
I definitely think we both enjoyed...
We're nearly here now.
I definitely think we both enjoyed it more than we expected, though. Like, I was, like, fully, like, prepared to leave after an hour.
I mean, it certainly wasn't unwatchable.
I've definitely seen... I actually...
But
like
it was
we were
dreary.
saying, it's better than, like...
But it was dreary.
Independence Day.
It wasn't fun. I didn't have any fun at that.
No.
I thought it was very boring.
The only fun I had was when we both laughed, like, quite uproariously, was when Will Smith was looking
at the mannequin. Yeah. No, it was... Look, it was boring. It was messy. There was no character to cling to.
It was ugly as well.
Really ugly.
Yeah.
So I really don't have a lot.
But I definitely had a couple of moments in it that I was like, oh yeah, I don't mind that.
So yeah, absolutely worth the price of admission for 2 moments where you did. Oh, I don't mind that. So yeah, don't bother.
But it has to be said, if we had never heard any criticism or any reviews and we'd gone in, we'd be like, this is terrible.
Yeah, but would we have been...
We wouldn't have been looking for things to like about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I was looking for. Anyway, come on.
Alright, let's wrap it up. That was not so great.
Don't go see it.
Don't go see that. Bye.